Welcome to another video in the SAP S/4HANA Fixed Assets playlist. Sometimes when we post fixed asset acquisition, we post by mistake a lower acquisition value than we should. This happens, for example, when we forget to include in our acquisition cost the cost we paid for the asset shipment and asset installation. And according to the financial standards, the acquisition cost should include all the costs we paid to buy the asset, install it, ship it to our location, and make it ready for use in our site. And if we forget to include these costs, we end up having a lower acquisition cost for the asset than we should, which will impact also the planned depreciation posting. In other cases, we also do mistakes when we transfer the fixed assets from non-SAP systems into SAP. So for example, we have 1,000 assets that we maintained in other systems, and now we started using SAP, and we are moving all of these assets to SAP, and some mistakes happen. And we end up having some assets that have lower acquisition value than they should, and also this will impact the planned depreciation. So this is a very critical issue. Now, this issue we either discover in the same year of acquisition of the asset or in future years. So for example, we did fixed asset acquisition in 2023, and then after 1 or 2 periods in the same year, we found out we have a low acquisition value that we should correct. Or in other cases, we do a revision or an audit for our fixed asset records in 2023, and we found out that we have an asset that we acquisitioned in 2020 with a low acquisition value, and we want to correct this acquisition value, and also we want to correct all the wrong depreciation that was posted, because lower acquisition value means we were posting low depreciation for the past 2 or 3 years. So the financial accounting treatment that will happen to correct these issues is different if we discover the issue in the same year of acquisition or if we discover the issue in future years. The financial entries will be different, and also the process that is used in SAP is different. In the video today, I will explain to you the financial entries used to correct the acquisition value in both of these cases, and I will show you how to do this on SAP S/4HANA 2021. And by the way, sometimes we call this process fixed asset acquisition write-up, which is different from fixed asset depreciation write-up. So these are two different processes. Today I will talk only about the acquisition. So if we have a low acquisition value for an asset by mistake, how can we correct this either in the same year of acquisition or in future years? As usual, here I have 2 screens. On the one on the right, I'm going to display the asset values or the asset explorer. And on the one on the left, I'm going to perform the different transactions. So this way we can see immediately the impact of anything we do on the asset values. In the demo today, I will demonstrate 2 business cases. The first one is posting an acquisition to a fixed asset in this year, and then trying to post an additional acquisition value to the same asset after 1 or 2 periods of depreciation. And the other business case is to post fixed asset acquisition in a previous year, so for example 2022, and then trying to adjust the acquisition value in 2023 to show the adjustment of acquisition value of an asset that was acquisitioned in a previous year. So let's start with the first one. I will do the demo end to end, starting from the fixed asset creation until we actually see the increased asset acquisition value. So for the first business case, acquisition in this year and adjustment in this year. Now let's start by the creation of the fixed asset. So the transaction is AS01. I will go much faster this time. I already have around 15 videos in the playlist so far, so you should be very familiar with all of this. If you see that I'm going fast in these transactions, then you definitely need to check the rest of the playlist. I'm not going to waste your time by re-explaining everything. Everything here I have already explained. So I will create the asset AS01, the asset class is 2000, and the company code for the first demo is AG20. And let's give it any name. So for example, France 1, 2, 3, and the time dependent data cost center is 1000. Then go to depreciation areas, and here we have the depreciation key straight line, and I will depreciate this asset over 4 years, not 10. So I will change this to 4. And post. Now here is our fixed asset, copy, and let's post the fixed asset acquisition. So this is the first acquisition, the original one. So this is the capitalization of this asset, and I will post it against a supplier. The transaction is F-90 as explained before. So /N F-90. and I will post the acquisition in 01/01/2023. So this first day of this year, 01/01/2023, and the account number, so the supplier is AG01. The value of the asset, let's say 40,000, and the posting key for the asset debit is 70. Account, the S number is this one, enter. The transaction type is 100 for external asset acquisition, and the value asterisk, so this is the value, the tax code is V0. Alright, and post. Now here on the other screen, let's open the fixed asset master data, so AS03 to display the impact of this transaction, or AS02, and go to asset values. Now here is our asset, and as you see, we have in the asset value date 01/01/2023 external asset acquisition of 40,000. If we go to posted values, we can see the planned depreciation. So we have depreciation planned of 833 every month, and if we go to comparison, we can see that this depreciation is planned for 4 years. 1, 2, 3, 4. 40,000 over 4 years, it will depreciate 10,000 per year. So everything is okay so far. Now let's post some of the depreciation of this asset. So I will run depreciation for period 1 and 2, and then we will try to adjust the acquisition value of the asset. So to post the depreciation, the transaction is FAB, already explained. So /n AFAB. And posting period, let's say I will post for period 2, company code AG20, I will remove the test run and execute in background, which is mandatory. So here, okay, and immediate, then save. Now let's refresh and see what happened here. If you go to posted values, so now as you see, we have depreciation posted in period 2 of 1,666. This is the value for both period 1 and 2, because we did not run the depreciation for P1. We did it directly in period 2 or February. This is why in period 2 we have the depreciation for 2 periods. Everything is all right so far. So now we have depreciation already posted to this asset. And we discovered now in period 3 in March that we did not maintain the correct acquisition value, and actually the asset acquisition value should be 80,000, or let's say should be 44,000 instead of 40. So we want to post additional asset acquisition of 4,000 for the asset that we acquisitioned in 2023 in the same year. To do this, we will simply post another fixed asset acquisition. Very easy. So let's go back to the menu here. Accounting, financial accounting, fixed asset, posting, acquisition, external acquisition. So we can either post again another acquisition against the supplier, the same as the one we did for the capitalization, but then we will have to insert a supplier number. Or if we want to post it against an automatic offsetting entry, so an intermediary account that we can then clear against any other account, we can also do this. So for example, I will use the acquisition with automatic offsetting entry this time. So this is exactly similar to the capitalization posting. So the business case is when we want to fix or correct the acquisition value of an asset in the same fiscal year of the acquisition, we can post a normal regular asset acquisition, external asset acquisition, and it will SAP will automatically adjust all the planned depreciation values. Let's see how this will work. So now as you see that planned depreciation is 833 and the acquisition value is 40,000, and I want the acquisition value to be 44,000, and I want SAP to adjust the planned depreciation. And here I will insert the document date, so 01/03/2023 for example, and posting date I will also say 01/03/2023, so 1st of March. And asset value date again is 01, or let's say the asset value date actually, because this is a mistake. So the acquisition value should be posted in 01/01/2023. So here the asset value date will be 01/01/2023. This way SAP understands that I did a mistake and I should have posted this acquisition in period 1. And the amount posted is 4,000. So this will add 4,000 to the acquisition of the asset and post. Now if we refresh the asset values, so here we have 40,000 of transaction type 100 posted in 01/01/2023, and we have another 4,000 posted with asset value date 01/01/2023. Asset value date is the date SAP will use to in the fixed asset module to calculate the different depreciation values. This is why it is different from the posting date. Now, if I want to see the financial entry here, I can double click on the line, and you will see that the posting date for this entry is actually 0103. So document date, posting date 0103. We did not post anything in 01 because 01, period 1 or January is already closed. We are in March now. So the posting date is actually 03, but the value date is in January. So SAP will start calculating the depreciation as if this acquisition was posted in January. Now, as you see here, the entry is we have a debit to the asset and we have a credit to a clearing asset acquisition. This is an intermediary account that we can then use to clear against any account we want. Now, let's go back and go to the posted values to see the planned depreciation. So now the acquisition value of the asset is 44,000. And as you see here, the posted value for February is already cannot be changed. It has already been posted. But in March, SAP is going to post an additional value to adjust for the 4,000 difference for period 1 and 2. And then after this, it will be 916. The total will be 11,000 per year because we have 44,000 over 4 years is 11,000 per year. And if you go to comparison, here as you see, we have a planned depreciation of 11,000 for 4 years. So on annual, from the annual point of view, everything is fine. We don't have any issues now. And if you go to the planned depreciation after period 3, so period 3 will take a hit to adjust for the differences for period 1 and 2. But then all the other periods will be correct and we have no issues. And if you go to the other years, so 2024, for example, we cannot switch to future years from here. But if you go to planned values, here we have the values posted. And if we go to comparison, we can see we have everything is okay. So this is how we adjust the acquisition value and the planned depreciation value for an asset that was acquisitioned in the same year. Now let's move to the second business case. I'm going to post an acquisition of an asset in 2022, so the previous year, and then I will close the fixed asset year and open 2023, and then we'll try to adjust the acquisition value that was posted in the last year. It's a completely different process. So let's go back to the menu. And we will start from scratch again. So I will start by creating an asset. So in this demo, I am going to use another company code 1710, which is active in 2022 now. So in the previous year. And so 1710, again, asset class is 2000. So let's call this previous year. And the time dependent data, here I will insert a cost center. So here's our cost center. And then depreciation areas. I don't want to use all of these. They will make things more complicated. So I will deactivate. I'm going to deactivate all of these depreciation areas, except the ones that I use in all my demos. So we have book depreciation, GAAP, and IFRS. And here the useful life is also 4 years. And save. So here's our asset number, and this time we are using company code 1710. Now let's open the Asset Explorer here. So AS02, asset values. So here is our asset. It has no values so far. Now let's go to the fixed asset acquisition transaction /N F-90. And this time I'm posting to 1710. And the posting date, let's say it will be 01/01/2022. So I'm posting fixed asset acquisition in the previous year. This way I can see how I can adjust it in 2023. So 01/01/2022, and also the document date is the same. To be able to run this process in your system, you need to be sure that the previous year is open in financial accounting and also in fixed assets. It can take some effort, but I have my system ready here for this company code. The posting key here, I will insert the vendor, and this is our vendor in 1710. And the amount is also 40,000, same as the other one. So this is our fixed asset acquisition value. And then the other line is 70, a debit to an asset. And here I will insert the asset number. Here's our asset. Transaction type is also 100, external asset acquisition. And the amount is the same. Tax code is E0. And jurisdiction is, so 1710 is maintained in US, so I have to maintain tax jurisdiction whenever I insert any entry. And then post. Now let's refresh here. And as you see, we have fixed asset acquisition. If you go back to 2022, we have fixed asset acquisition of 40,000 posted in 01/01/2022. Now let's post some depreciation in 2022, or I'm going to post all the depreciation for 2022. So let's go to transaction AFAB/N, AFAB again for the depreciation posting. Company code 1710, posting period is 12/2022. So this way, if you check here, the depreciation was not posted for any period for this asset in 2022. Now, if I run it for period 12, SAP will post all the depreciation in one period, in P12, which is okay for my demo. So I will run it directly for P12, 1710/2022, remove test run, and execute in background. Immediate. Now let's refresh here. And if we go to 2022 posted values, we have depreciation posted in period 12 of 10,000. So this is the total for the first year, because the fixed asset acquisition value is 40,000, depreciated over 4 years of useful life. So if you check comparison here, so we have 10,000 per year. Now we already posted all the 10,000 for 2022. We closed the 2022. And the next step in fixed assets would be to actually close the year and open 2023 before we can try to adjust the acquisition in 2023. So now the next step I will do is to close the fixed asset year and open the new year. I have not demonstrated this part before, so I will go slower now. But again, I will try to make another video, completely separate video, to explain the year-end closing activities for fixed assets. Now, for the sake of this demo, I will do it in front of you now, but I will not explain everything. So what I will do now is I will close the fixed asset year 2022 and I will open the year 2023. And we can do this from fixed asset, periodic processing, fiscal year change, and year-end closing. So in year-end closing, I will go to execute undo. And here we have the company code 1710. Go to change. And then go to 0L. Here we have the closed fiscal year is 2021, which means the last closed year is 2021, which means 2022 is open. This is why we were able to post depreciation and acquisition. Now I will select all of these, or we can click here and click on close. Now the closed fiscal year is 2022, which means we opened 2023 and we closed 2022 for 0L. I will do the same for 2L. So I will select the areas and then click on close. So now here the closed year is 2022 also. Save. The next step to do, which is not something specific to fixed assets, but has to be done for all the financial accounting area, is to carry forward the balances. So we have to do this transaction at the end of every fiscal year in SAP. So I will carry forward the balances, and these transactions can be done as many times as you want. I already did a test run before I do the demo to be sure that I will not face any issues when I do the demo in the video. And now I'm doing it again. There is no issue in rerunning the carry forward again and again in SAP S/4HANA. So now the ledger I will leave empty. The company code is 1710. The carry forward to fiscal year is 2023. I will remove the test run and execute. Now the balance carry forward is done. We can go back. And if we refresh here, nothing has happened to the asset. We still have 2022 with the same values. So we have 40,000 of acquisition in 2022 and we have 10,000 depreciation posted. And now we started 2023 and we discovered that the acquisition value of the asset should actually be 44,000 and not 40,000. But this asset was acquisitioned in the last year. So what can we do now? If I post fixed asset acquisition, if I try to post a normal fixed asset acquisition, so let's go back and go here to posting acquisition. So let's say I will try to do the same as we did last time, but the asset value date, and I want the asset value date to be last year in 2022 because I want SAP to adjust all the depreciation because this was a mistake actually. The asset should have the acquisition value of 44,000 from 01/01/2022. If I try to do this here, so 01/01/2022, and let's keep the posting date and document date in this year since last year is closed, so 01/01/2023, 01/2023, and let's try to post 4,000. We get this error. Asset value date and posting date are not in the same fiscal year. Now the other option would be to put the asset value date as today in 2023, but this doesn't make sense. This is not our business case. This means that we are actually adding something to the asset today, and this is not the case. The case is, by mistake, we forgot to maintain this 4,000 in 2022. So the other way that we have to do now is to use the post-capitalization transaction. So this is a transaction in SAP that's used specifically for this case to adjust the acquisition value of an asset that was acquisitioned in previous years. Now let's go back, and we can find the transaction here. So if you check under posting, and then here we have post-capitalization, ABNAN. So this is the transaction, double click. So this transaction will only work for assets that were acquisitioned in previous years. If you try to use it for an asset that you acquisitioned in this year, it will give an error, because for these assets we use the regular asset acquisition as I just showed you in the previous demo. So now what we can do here is we are going to use our asset that we acquisitioned in the last year. So this is the asset number, and here I will insert the document date. So now I'm posting this in 2023. So 01/01/2023, 1/01/2023. But the original value date, so the value date when we should have actually maintained this acquisition was in 01/01/2022. This is why it's called original value date. And the amount posted is 4,000, and post. In this transaction, SAP will automatically use the transaction type 400, which is defined by default, and which is also a standard transaction type used for the post-capitalization. All right, and there is refresh. So now in 2023, we have an amount of 4,000 added as post-capitalization, and transaction type is 400. Now if we go to posted values, as you see here, the ordinary depreciation value has been modified. So instead of having 10,000 for the year, we have 11,000 for the year. So SAP was able to modify the planned depreciation values. If we go to 2022, nothing has changed here because this year is already closed. We can no longer touch this. So in 2022, we should actually have 11,000 of depreciation, but 2022 is already closed and reported. We cannot touch it. This is why it will remain the same, but the adjustment will be posted in 2023. And then from 2023 on, the depreciation will be okay. So if we go to comparison, as you see here, we have 10,000 in the first year, yes, but then we have 11,000, 11,000, 11,000. So the total depreciated is 43,000, and we have a value adjustment of 1,000. So this is the 1,000 that should have been here, but because the year is closed, we can no longer put it here. So now it is posted as a value adjustment. Now let me show you the financial entry. So if we double click here, we can see the financial entry of the post-capitalization. So now the first line is a debit of 4,000 to machinery and equipment. This is the fixed assets, GL account. The second line is a credit of 1,000 to accumulated depreciation. Remember that when we post our depreciation, the financial entry for any depreciation is debit to depreciation expense, credit to accumulated depreciation. Now in the year 2022, we posted a debit to the depreciation expense for 10,000 and a credit to accumulated depreciation for 10,000. But then after 2022 ended, we realized that the accumulated depreciation should actually be 11,000. So we have 1,000 of difference. This is why here we are posting a credit of 1,000 to accumulated depreciation. So now we are adjusting the accumulated depreciation balance to be correct. And then the remaining is posted to a revenue of post-capitalization, 3,000. So this is the financial entry for post-capitalization. And the important thing is now all the future planned depreciation will be correct, and the asset will be depreciated completely in the useful life as planned. So everything is okay from now on. we had to do some financial accounting adjustments in this period because we need to correct a mistake. This is normal, but then in the future everything will be fine. So now you understand the difference between the process of how to adjust the fixed asset acquisition value when we post acquisition in the same year and when we post acquisition in previous years. I hope it was easy to understand. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave me comments, and you can also contact me on LinkedIn or Patreon. And also don't forget to check the YouTube membership program to be able to get access to the configuration documents and to the member exclusive videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.